Hello, I'm Chris. This is Gross Models. Welcome to issue 59 of Building the Delorean from Back to the Future. In this issue, we get some more bits for the bulkhead, and we're going to be fitting the bulkhead. Lots of building to be done in this issue. Look, we've got tubes and pipes and things to put in. Then the bulkhead itself fitted to the interior that we've already got. Connecting up some more wires. I don't know where all these wires have come from. I don't remember having that many loose wires, but there we go. More wires to plug it in, tubes to connect, even more wires to plug in, and then attaching that to the chassis, bolting it in place. So we end up with one huge assembly, good to go. That's all the building to be done in a moment. Look, there's just the one page of blurb and fluff talking about the Twin Pines Mall to become one. Twin Pines Mall become the Lone Pine Mall. Oh, isn't that sweet? And next time we're starting on the actual framework. We have the upper frame. I think there's very little to be built with that. I think we're not installing that onto it, obviously, for a little while yet, but it'll be fun. And we're looking at Griffith Park, so probably not much fluff in there either. So, yes, that's all the parts that we have. Let's get to it. So, obviously from previously, from now, we've got a couple of little bits to install. This goes behind there and then fits into top there. That's going to be easier to do with a pair of tweezers, I think, to grab that and plug that end of that in up there. That's going to be, a lot of these are quite a tight fit, which is not a bad thing, except when it is. But yeah, that's going to obviously plug in down the loan somewhere. Then we need a couple of bits from here. That bit, I don't think. We need these two tubes, which are going onto the longer. D is the longer of the two of these. That one goes on there a bit. We'll go on there. Oh, this is that's a fit that I'm happy with. Let's try it on the other one. I know I've got to get both of them on there anyway, but yeah, that's going to take a little bit of careful manipulation. Oh, I thought I had it then, but I didn't. Let's try the other end, just in case that's any easier. That end is just very slightly easier. So that goes on there. It goes on there a little bit. Actually, these are both going to plug onto here. So you know exactly how far that needs to be. And looking at the end of this, this should be right on the end. So a little bit further than that. Just about there, I think. Let's get that one on there as well. I don't think there's a difference either end. There might be. It might be that it goes on one end much easier than the other. So if it doesn't go on, try turning it around. See what happens. That goes on there and that one goes in there. Again, not as tight as that top one, and that feels like that should be tighter. But there we go. This is then installing onto the fan that way round. That goes onto the top of that. Come on. No, D. Wait a minute. D. No, C. D goes onto the top of that. D goes onto the other side of that after this is installed on there. On the end of that goes onto one of those pins, the one closest to it. That's got to go onto there. Again, it's going to take a little bit of manipulation. Get in with the tweezers. Get that on there. Like that. No, not like that. It was like that, but it came off again. So maybe it wasn't on fully. It's quite a tight fit. So yeah, that's on there better. that's that. See, that's going to come off. I'm going to need to add a little bit of glue to that to hold that in place. Doesn't say anything about using glue. No, it just says push it in, so I shall glue that, no doubt. That's going to be held in place with 2 AP screws. I'll do that behind the scenes. And then the other end of D will go on there. So let's get that on there anyway. And it's all attached. So that's on there, that's on there. We then have 2 ends of this, the light tube. This is another socket that we're going to have to do. They go into there. They are going to light up that Christmas tree thing. That's that. Then hold that in place with 59G and an AP screw. 59G. I don't know what that is. Is that? It's not that bit, is it? Oh, it is that bit. Yes. So that and another screw will hold that wire in place. Coming down past here. That's how to bend these over as well. Get them on and bent over. Bending wires always feels a little bit scary, but we do what we got to do. So that on there and that on there with a screw. I shall do that. I shall get that screwed in place and I'll get those glued in place for now. And then we'll attach that to the other chassis. Right, I've had a little flick through in front of the next bit of the magazine. The next bit makes sense and then a big chunk of it doesn't. But I shall explain that in a moment. We're going to have to offer this up to here first. It obviously goes on the back there, nice and easy. Now we've got all of these wires and pipes needs to be connected up. Now it says to do it, you know, in a certain order, and you're probably right, but also it doesn't seem to work that way. So what I'm going to do is basically get these all out of the way, offer this up where it needs to go, making sure the couple of tubes that I've got, like this big one there, needs to line up into that hole up there. So that goes basically like that without getting stuff caught up. Like this tube here doesn't need to go down the back of that bulkhead. So that connects up to there. I'm going to get that screwed in place now and then worry about connecting up the tubes and pipes and things. But I can need to do that basically while it's upside down. So yeah, I shall just use some 4 FP screws, obviously 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll get that connected up off camera and then show you the connecting up bit while it's not flapping around loose and things. And then I shall explain the next section before I do it. So I shall see you when this is wired up, or not wired up, connected up, and then I will wire it up together. Right, that's that plugged in place now. 4 screws and another one at the back of that tube, holding the big tube in place. Right, now in the order that it tells me to do it, I need to already have connected this one next to the other one there. I can't quite see, but it's around there. I shall make sure that's in place in a minute. The wiring. Right, the wiring is going to be fun. We've got all of these wires from that coming out. To go in, it's got a whole heap of them. There's these 2. You may notice I've got a bit of tape on there holding the bulb in place. It just wasn't holding secure. Whether I can take that off when I get it assembled or it will sit there quite happily, I'm sure that will be fine. So basically we've got these 3 to plug in. Now obviously they have numbers on them, same as the others. So we've got 15. We go on to 15, which is in there somewhere next to 14. So that's going to go there, somewhere around there, a bit like that. This big one needs to go all the way over here with the F and R joining up, just like it does over there. Getting a little bit tight, but that's fine. Stretches there. So that's going to go on there like so. And one more, well, we've got to connect from that one. 16, obviously next to 15. I should have probably done that one first. Get that back out of there. I've got 15 on 16 anyway, so let's move that across one to there, and that one will then go in there. Now, the instructions for the next one basically tell me to connect up the pipes on the front and then go straight into plugging in lots of other wires at the back here. I haven't got any other wires at the back here to plug in. They're all done. I've checked, and all the other wires are, in fact, connected to the chassis. But it doesn't say to connect this to the chassis until after. But obviously you have to. So, yeah. Let me get all of these plugged into the right places first. So we've got, yeah, the bottom of that one goes onto there. Most of these are going to be pretty much where they ended up. The problem with the instruction manual is it just labels them as things. I can't tell. They don't give you colours, as you can see. Basically, all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, will be plugging into the 4 there. So the 2 little ones are going to be at the top, and the other 2 are going to be down there. I don't know which one's which. I don't know that it matters. They both appear to be the same. I'm going to put the black one at the bottom. This is where coloured instruction manuals would have been more useful when you're putting in coloured tubes and wires. But yeah, so I'll get those connected up. I'll get these connected up. So most of them go onto that tube up the top there. Again, we've got 4 of those to do, 2 little ones and 2 bigger ones. So I'll get these all plugged in, and then we'll see about bringing in the chassis and getting everything connected. Look, I found them. Here are all of the other numbered plugs, lots of them, which we've got to plug all of them in. Now, obviously, these at the moment are only connected to the other end of plugs and wires and stuff. So there's nothing that you're actually wiring up to as yet. As you can see, they're just sockets, but they obviously still need to be connected. One other thing I have just done, before you attach this to this, make sure your steering wheel's the right way up. Mine was out. The post at the bottom here, when it's going down, the steering wheel should be the correct way up. Mine was sort of off to one angle like that, so I've had to take the wheel off. It's actually on a square. So it could go on one of 4 directions. Obviously, when I put it on, I wasn't paying attention, or I didn't get it right for whatever reason. But I have got it right now. So that is now lined up. So what you've got to do is get all of your wires out of the way, out the back. This needs to go over there, covering over all of the wires. The socket goes through there into what you can't see in there. Actually, you can just about see it in there. Is a little elongated hole. So make sure the wheels are facing forward. Lower that into place. And when that's in place, it should engage with the wheels a little bit. Once that's obviously attached where it should be, which I need to get in the right place anyway. It's about there. So make sure that's where it should be, and that should enable you to turn the wheels, as you can see, a little bit engaging there. So that's now in the right place. Doesn't turn a lot, and if you go too far out, it sort of slips out, but it's all about a little bit of turning. They're not going to be, used anyway. So that is that. That's the front end worried about. Now we've just got to worry about the back end here, where we've got all of these wires, which are coming out in various different places. They all need to go down here, where the board is. Now you can't really plug them in while it's in place. So maybe that's where the misunderstanding with the order of things on the instructions are. So actually I might need to get this out from there. Get it sort of just here-ish. And get all of these plugged into their corresponding sockets. We've got 1, 2, 3 from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 from that side. So that leaves us with 1, 2, 3 across the top. And on the bottom chunk, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7. There's still 2 more. So maybe I've lost a couple, or there are still a couple to do, and I can knock the camera with my headset. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's lots. So I shall get all of these 10 or 11 things by the looks of it connected up. Obviously I can't hold it while I'm doing that, but you know the order they go in, because it's going from 21. So 22 and 23 are going to go on there, whichever ones they are. These are 9 and 19, not in any particular order. So 19 is going to go, for instance, in that gap there, just like that, and connected in. So I'm going to get all these connected up, and then we'll see about getting the 4 screws in to hold this in place. And that will be the end of this section. No, one more thing to do after that. So I'll get that done, and then we'll do the final bit. Right, that's all the wires plugged in, with all the excess just coming off to the side there as pictured. Other than that, that's it. I've got to put the 4 screws in to hold this in place, which means moving these wires out of the way just a little bit. But that shouldn't be a problem. Let's just try and get a couple of those in without knocking the camera too much. It's down there. No, that's a screw already. Let's have a look. Just about there by the looks of it. If I move that out of the way a little bit. There it is. Yeah, this is not going to be the easiest of screws to get. Get that one in. That one's a little bit easier. So make sure that lines up there, and which it isn't. It's going to take a little bit of wiggling to make sure that gets into the right location for the screw hole. It seems to be just about there. So once one's in, the others should be easy to line up and get in the right place. One more piece to put in, which is this little bracket, which holds the steering rod in the right place. So first of all, make sure you get it in the right place, which isn't quite there. That's just the one side of it. That should be it there. There we go. So that's now doing the steering. So this goes in there like that way around even. And there's 2 screws that hold that in place, and that's never going to escape again. Now I know that the shell is in the right place. I can get this in there, and the other one in on the other side under those wires there, which are now connected to a thing. I don't know how much of these need to come through, but there's a bit of play in there. So I can get that connected through when obviously the headlights are going to be assembled onto the front at some point. So yes, I'll play with the screws off air. But that is that. That is the body now sort of completed. I'm sure I can play around with excess of wires, shove them in, pull them out, whatever needs doing to get them to go to the right places when we need them very, very soon, hopefully. Next time, we're starting on the actual shell, the body panel. So stick around for that. I'm going to see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.